The brand is strong. See that? The brand is strong.
There you go. Awesome.
So where is this live, my friend?
So we should be streaming live to LinkedIn right now. We should be live to Facebook, and we should be live to YouTube as well.
I love it.
So, well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time with me, Larry, here, and everybody. I hope everybody's tuning in here. Welcome. Hope everybody's having a good stay-at-home night here and finding some ways to bring themselves some joy. But I appreciate you joining us here for the very first edition of our BeFree TV that we're doing here. Kind of adapting to the changing times of being at home and not out able to really network with people the same way that we might want to learn about people's concerns and to meet people and to start working on plans to get things done. And really just kind of taking advantage of this new space, this new media space that's kind of taken off of the live stream world. And I never had any aspirations to be a live streamer by any means, so please bear with me as we go through this. But I'm excited to have Mr. Larry Sharpe on the live stream tonight here with the Welty for Wa campaign and the kind of the BeFree movement here that we've got going in Washington.
So tell me where this is actually streaming on Facebook. What page?
This is through the Anthony Welty campaign for insurance commissioner.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it here real fast. There we go. All right. I think I can find you.
Awesome. So definitely start your watch parties, folks. If you can, share it, tag a friend, and rewatch it later too. And let's share these libertarian ideas. Tonight we're going to be focusing on a couple of different things, kind of the insurance realm of things, the healthcare realm of things, and kind of libertarian ideas and solutions for these issues that so many of us are aware of. What I'm looking for here is to generate conversation and to help bring real ideas to the forefront here that can work immediately to make the people's lives better. And I know Larry Sharpe is a man that's been really focused on making people's lives better for a long time now. And Larry, so welcome to the show in Washington.
I'm happy. I've been in Washington several times. I've actually raised money for your state party a couple times. So yes, I have been there. Happy to be there. Happy to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I first met you Libertarian Convention a couple years ago out in Moses Lake, and it was wonderful to hear you speak. And you really focused on some things about infrastructure that resonated with me. So
absolutely, for us to be the party that we want to be, we can't only be principle and activists. We have to be about principle, and we have to have activists. Absolutely, but it's not one or the other. It's all. We need activists, we need principle, and we need infrastructure, right? We need all of those things for us to be effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've been putting in work there. Speaking of, how is New York? You're in New York now, I take it.
I literally live, as I say all the time, in the belly of the beast. I want to be clear about a couple things here. You people may not get where I actually live and what I actually deal with, right? Trump is from Queens, where I am. Cuomo on TV all the time, locking down New York State, from Queens, where I am. The most deaths and the most people who are infected by the virus, Queens, where I'm from. The most deaths in that hospital at Elmhurst, walking distance from my house. Not just that, the most Karen calls. You know what I mean by Karen calls, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We in New York State, we have what's called 311. In New York City, 311. And 311 is where people call when someone is doing something horrible, like jogging without a mask. And that's when the cops come and make you literally pay, I'm not joking, $500. Yes, that is the fine, $500. The most 311 calls in the entire city, my area, Astoria, Queens. So, and I'll throw one more thing on top of it. My congressperson, AOC.
Wow. So you've got the not even the trifecta. That's
quadrifecta.
Yeah. And then super effective is 5, right? So
is that what it is? I got that.
Yeah.
Yes, I got that.
Awesome. Well, so Larry, what I wanted to ask here, I wanted to learn a little bit more about your backstory. What is it that maybe first turned you to political in the first point, and then maybe what turned you from somebody that just casually followed politics to an activist to somebody now willing to, put their life in the public view?
No, it's a great point. And most people come to this, the political side, one of two ways. One of them is either through politics, right? They read the books and they're into politics, they're into policy and that kind of thing, right? Or something bad happens to them, right? And they go, well, this sucks. It's got to be a better answer. So they find us. But the one thing that was similar from what I did is I found the movement in the party through someone, right? Most people come to our party or are open to hear about our party because they heard some cool guy or some cool gal say something that made sense to them, right? Whether it was, the Mary Ruwarts of the world, or whether it was the Gary Johnson of the world, whether it was the Ron Pauls of the world, whether it was the Harry Browns of the world, whoever it was, someone said something and they went, oh, that makes some sense. For me, that was Gary Johnson. And it was Gary Johnson because I came to the movement through business. So Gary Johnson was a businessman, so he's someone that I could hear. And I bring this up often. A lot of people say, Gary Johnson, he's not a hardcore libertarian. It's true. He's not. He is he's an intuitive libertarian is what he is, right? He's a guy who this doesn't feel right, so let's not do it. And in his gut, he's a libertarian. He's much more of an intuitive libertarian. So, but he was a guy I could hear. And again, it was because I was a business guy. The reality of it is people hear this message depending upon where they are in life. I was talking to Karen and Harlos about this, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And she was talking about a shirt that somebody was wearing that said legalize recreational cocaine. And someone often thinks that because I'm more of a mainstream politician that I'd be against such a shirt. I'm not, because someone is going to hear that message, right? Someone is in the right place in their world, in their mind, in their life to where they go, God damn it, yeah. And other people are like, no, that's too crazy for me, right? They want to hear something like, let's have better public schools or whatever is the thing that they need to hear. Yeah. What I had to hear was someone talking about supporting entrepreneurs. That's what I had to hear because I was one of them. Gary Johnson was talking about that, and I went, whoa, this guy's talking to me, and then I kept going. Now, people often ask, well, Larry, how in the world were you so fast to be able to speak, so well about the movement? And the reason is I've been teaching this for years. I was teaching post-industrial leadership since 2004. So by the time I heard Gary Johnson, I've been doing it for 8 years, which means I knew what it was, right? Post-industrial leadership is about the idea of the individual understanding that they have to want to do the job to be effective. I need my leaders and my juniors to actually make it to where more people get it and have ownership, self-ownership of the job, self-ownership of the work, self-ownership of the project, which is volunteerism. That is how you get someone to be creative, innovative, all types of things, right? That's the most important piece. And if I understood that, I'm able to speak to it in a better way.
Yeah, I think everybody hears things in different ways, and I think you're smart to acknowledge that. And as we're trying to share our ideas and our principles, accepting and acknowledging that in the moment with the conversation, realizing what maybe somebody isn't willing to hear at that point in time, and accept that that's okay.
Yes.
I have to do that in my marriage, right?
Yes.
So it's maybe we have to do that with the public.
But there's a more important piece here. And by the way, I want to acknowledge Sonia. Thank you, Sonia. Yes, I'm being interviewed this time, right? So I'm not interviewing. So yes, wrong side of the screen. She's correct. So, but thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I think she's going crazy up there in Western New York, being locked down. I know. Yes. So now it's just me. I'm special. So no, the point we have to realize, particularly when it comes to us being libertarians, is accepting a very important truth, and that is some people don't want to be free. That's an important thing to accept. Some people only want certain levels of freedom. Some people want to give away some of their rights. And that's not a bad thing. It depends upon where they are in their life, where they are in their world. They may want to do that. The issue is they shouldn't force us to do that, and we should allow them to as long as they're volunteering. When we get that, that's when we really get to connect with people, understanding you don't have to be me. You got to be you. You just got to let me be me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So if we're going to, impact positive change in people's lives and move things in the right direction, and, you're willing to take that step to run for vice president of the entire country here, under the third party banner, as a libertarian banner. One of the things that my campaign is really focused on here, and why I think some folks are tuning in today, is things like healthcare reform.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a really big issue for people nationwide, and what we have right now is a Republican Party that hasn't really offered any solutions, so to speak, that anybody could hold on to or grasp onto, and a Democrat Party that's given one solution for the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to kind of get your take on, what you think your role as VP, but the ticket's role, the Judge Jim Gray and Larry Sharpe ticket. If you're in the White House, what's your role as the federal government, the White House seats in regulating this healthcare industry? What's the libertarian solutions and or not solutions, but what do you think the libertarian role in that executive position is?
Look, there's a lot here. The number one thing that I do as the vice president when I have a libertarian president is nod my head. That's my number one job. Yes, he's so correct. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. Yes. That's my number one job. Remember, I'm running for the VP slot. And this, by the way, is the second time. By the way, tell Sonia what you're running for.
Sonia, we got state insurance commissioner here. We're going to make insurance sexy out in Washington and bring some liberty to it for everyone.
Come on. Who doesn't want to make insurance sexy? Come on.
Yeah.
I think we all do. And Anthony's a pretty sexy man. So, I mean, that's that it's easy already, right? See, it's easy for him. I love that. The thing to remember is I'm running for VP, right? And this is actually the second time I ran for VP. I ran for it in 2016. That's the first time I came on the scene as a libertarian candidate, was running for VP in 2016, trying to become Gary Johnson's VP. And I lost that by 32 votes. Not that I'm counting. Anthony, stop counting. All right. I didn't ask you. You asked. Okay. I'm not counting.
Hey, I'm new to the party. I didn't get to
totally teasing.
Participate last time.
I'm totally teasing. I lost by 32 votes. And so once that happened, I thought, okay, I want to stay in and try to do it again. I wanted to be Gary Johnson's cheerleader. That's what the VP actually does. The VP is the cheerleader. The VP is the support structure. The VP is the person who's like, yes, that guy's right. Listen. And when I was there, and even when after the election I lost, I was still supporting him, right? And without question, I was still supporting Gary Johnson during the campaign in the press. And I was starting my sentences with, Governor Johnson's been clear. Governor Johnson's been clear. Governor Johnson's been clear. I do it all the time. That's what I was doing. I become a support structure. Why is that important? It's important because if I'm going to ask people to support me in the future, and I'm going to when I run for something, they have to know that I'm prepared to support also, right? So I try to do that. In 2014, 2 years before I ran for this, I was literally the body man for our gubernatorial candidate in New York, Mike McDermott. I drove him up state, helped him get on radio shows. I was donating to his campaign. I helped him with the debate prep when we did debates in Buffalo. I was that guy, the support guy, right? So then in 2018, when I ran, I got people supporting me because they knew I would support them. In 2016, I supported Gary Johnson. 2018, people supported me. Now I'm supporting yet again. So my first role is to support. Number one thing, VP's job is to support. But second piece, in reality, we have to make sure one thing is clear, and this is the biggest problem with all of our healthcare debates. The number one issue, there is a difference between healthcare and healthcare insurance. And
Yeah,
the vast majority of Americans don't get that because we speak of them interchangeably. Well, people need healthcare. Do they? They need healthcare insurance. Do they? What do they actually need? We got to give people good healthcare insurance. For a broken healthcare system, maybe we have to fix the system, right? The system and healthcare insurance are two separate issues. But in both cases, the goal is to break the monopoly. That's the critical piece. Break the monopoly. If you break the cartel or monopoly system that is the healthcare system, now you get a better insurance system because the prices go down. Now, how would I possibly know this, right? How would I possibly know this? I'm making it up, or I read a book about it from von Mises or something? No, there is literally a secondary healthcare system next to our, essential healthcare system. It's not essential. It's LASIK eye surgery, cosmetic dentistry, body enhancements. That's medical, same idea, right next to it. And what happens in that? In every situation, non-essential, everyone, price goes down, service gets better, accessibility increases. In every case, I have some gray hair. I remember back when they did LASIK eye surgery, and literally they did it per eye because it was so expensive. You're going to do one eye at a time. Now you walk in, you pay a couple $100, you get both eyes done, you walk out. People are getting it. There was a time when only like the wealthy actors and actresses got cosmetic dentistry. A lot of people get it now. But what's the opposite? The opposite are essential healthcare. Prices have gone up. Service has gone down. Accessibility is harder than ever. We can copy that model. Once the prices come down and once accessibility is larger, well, guess what? We can fix insurance. Insurance won't be so expensive if all the prices come down. In fact, if most people don't even need that much insurance and are okay paying a small amount, it changes everything. So the first key is separating those two. Second key is breaking monopolies and cartels. You do that, you'll have a better system.
Yeah, I think, the root cause is, absolutely, cost on the front end in so many ways, right? And that isn't to say that there isn't issues in the insurance regulatory fields as well, or even maybe how the companies themselves are functioning. So how does a libertarian as president or vice president, though, once you're actually in there in office, how do you think, when bills are coming through a Congress and a Senate that are obviously not libertarian in the slightest, right? When you get the next Republican care package that comes out, or the next
Sean's correct, by the way. Well done, Sean.
What do you think you guys would be able to accomplish in that sense? Are you thinking that, if we put a libertarian in that office, that we start vetoing things, how do you think you drive?
Sure. Let me give you a couple things. I want to be clear on some serious goals. While I'm happy to talk about us winning, I hope we win. And people who know me know I run to win. Because if lightning strikes, right, I know the odds of victory are low. I'm not fooling myself. I get it. I ran in New York State to win. That was my goal. And if lightning would have struck, I was ready to move in to Albany and govern. I was ready to do it if lightning struck. I'm going to run this the same way. We're going to run to win. And if lightning strikes, and with the COVID crisis, who knows, right? Who knows what's going to happen in the coming 6 months? Lightning could strike. So our goal is to run to win. Recognizing that, we probably won't. I get it. But we're going to run to win 100%. If we don't, there are actually secondary prizes we're looking for, right? The prize when I was in New York was actually very easy. It was made for me already. If I don't win, I get ballot access. I gain ballot access for the next 4 years. With that, I cross the state again. We got 103 local victories in New York State. That's because we got ballot access, and I didn't stop campaigning. I kept going out, but I was campaigning for others, right? That's what I do, by the way. That's my strength, not just running, but supporting others is a big strength of mine. All right, now, what else can we do? Guess what? We can win a state or two. Just imagine if we're able to win a state or two, right? What if we win 2 states? What if we win 1 state? And all of a sudden you see this great map. It's got red and blue all over it and 1 gold piece. Boom. 1 gold piece. that becomes a brand value that helps every single libertarian across the entire country. Because now every time people see that blue and red, they go, what's that gold? Oh, that's libertarians. That's right. Those guys won that state. They did. Helps every single down ballot candidate for the next 4 years. That's a critical aspect if we can do that, right? But more importantly, if we win enough of those states, there's a chance. Again, this is Sonia's lightning strike. Thank you for the Sonia for lightning strikes, right? If the lightning does strike and we win 2 or 3 states, they might not get 270. Neither me, the candidate, might not get 270. If they don't get 270 each, or either one gets 270, goes to the Congress. Someone like Judge Jim Gray, right? Democrats don't want to vote for Republican, but we don't want to vote for Democrat. We actually might get a victory out of this. And that's our lightning in a bottle, right? We try to get that if we possibly can. But now let me keep going. Now for your specific question. I wasn't dodging you. I was just pitching you. Now let me give you the actual answer to your question. What can we do? Number one thing when it comes to something like healthcare or something like that, we can talk enough that people begin to have the conversation that healthcare is not healthcare insurance. Just saying that, just getting people to start talking that way. And every time I ask the question, I go, the first thing is to understand they're separate. They ask again, great. The first thing is they're separate until eventually people start talking about them separately. Once they talk about them separately, single payer isn't so easy anymore, right? Single payer is very easy if they're the same. We're making them the same. Government-run healthcare is government-run health insurance. They're exactly the same. But if we separate them, all of a sudden that changes the conversation. And that's what I want. That would be a victory we could do without winning. Now, if we actually win, there are certain things that presidents and executives can do without Congress, right? There are executive orders you can make. How about just saying things like, you know what? Why don't we take marijuana, cannabis, off the Schedule 1? Boop, off. How about that? How about that? Imagine what happens the second that happens. Imagine what begins to change. Just doing that. And that could be day 1. And Judge Jim Gray has said he will do that. Day 1. Take it off. Gone. Just imagine that. Simple. Don't have to wait for Congress to do anything. Watch the states begin to function. Watch business begin to jump on top of that the second we do that. So just that. But I'm still not done. How about, how about instead, we start immediately saying, all right, guys, let's come up with a plan to bring all the troops home. Think a plan. Let's do it right now. Now, as soon as we do that, people will begin to panic. Of course they will. They'll start to panic. That's what people do. Oh my God, bringing troops home. The terrorists are going to kill us all. Great. Let's start that plan. Because the second that we have that plan, what has to happen? There now has to be discussion in Congress, discussion in the Senate, discussion in states and family homes. Why are we there? What is the goal? What is going to happen? How would that work? And right now, if you ask the average American, they don't talk about that. It's just they're fighting them there so they don't fight them here. And that's it. And they walk away. The most telling thing was when Mitt Romney was running. When Mitt Romney was running for president, he said, you know, this is a peacetime president. And I'm like, ask the 10,000 troops that are sitting in Iraq right now if that's true. It's not peacetime. We've forgotten. We've been at war so long, we've forgotten we're at war. That's how, and that was in 2012 that was happening, right? Yeah. 2012 that was happening. And, and now it's 8 years, we still have forgotten we're at war. So just making that plan, not even doing it, right? Because to do it would take a lot. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but announcing the plan, the conversation begins. And now we start thinking about, you know what? Let's, no more reenlistments. Right? Let's stop. There are certain candidates who are saying, we got to bring the troops home and discharge them. Oh my God. Oh my God. You think we have veteran problems now? The VA can't handle what the hell they have now. So you're going to take a bunch of troops who literally have been fighting Afghanistan for 6, 8, 9 months and say, okay, bye guys. How cruel are we? Oh my God. How about we start with no reenlistments? Just that. Now at least the guys and gals know, all right, I'm going to have to get myself together before I get out. I'm not going to be thrown out tomorrow. Now, of course, the best part is if there's no reinvestments, we can now have the private sector say, wait a minute, I'm going to have a massive amount of veterans that I can now hire. they can now prepare to absorb them into our economy. Again, just saying these things, starting the plan, you'll watch things begin to happen. And I think those are many things that we can do.
And the more conversation you generate, the more the ideas get out there. And I heard you a couple years ago, you know, when you're running for governor, you mentioned, I hope they steal our ideas.
100%.
And it's not about Larry or Anthony or, Vermin or any, buddy that's running for president right now. It's about the ideas getting out there and promoting some positive change. So,
well, the problem you have is you have people who you have an environment where, again, I live in the belly of the beast, right? Most people in my city love our governor. And he's a tyrant. He's literally destroying our economy. And they're like, yay, please punish us more. They're begging for it. This is the world we live in. We have to change our culture before we can actually win. Does that make sense? Yeah. So as we change the culture, people go, oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's going to change things. Let me shift and adjust and make that and make that happen. And talking. If you remember, I'm someone, I rarely ever, I think never do I say end the Fed. And the reason why I don't say end the Fed is not because I don't want to end it. I absolutely want to end the Fed. But why do I not say it? It's a true story. My day job, I often teach. One of the things I do. And it's a true story. I'm teaching a bunch of New York City professionals. These people are all educated, all credentialed. About 20 people in a room, give or take, all adults. Youngest is maybe 25, oldest is maybe 60. So in that realm, male, female mix, all professionals. I never talk about politics unless it's during a break and someone asks. So someone is talking during a break and says, hey, I'm so glad that we had the Fed. They really saved us during the crash, right? This is a common thought process. So I just mentioned, I said, do you guys know that the Fed is a private bank? And every one of them, no, that's not true. No, stop. I said, you have your phones? Google it. And they Google it. 30 seconds later.
Amazing what phones can do for us nowadays.
Say again?
It's amazing what phones can do for us nowadays.
Yes.
When you're drinking a cocktail after work one night.
Yes. So I said, Google it. They're like, oh my God, he's right. I said, also, do you guys know that the Fed magically makes money? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Look, just Google it. They Google it. Oh my God, he's right. Now, why is that important? You want to end the Fed when the average American believes that the Fed is saving us. It's not going to happen. So all I say is, you know what? Why don't we audit the Fed? Everyone says that. Everyone I've ever met, when I say that, goes, that's a good idea. They're a government agency. They believe it's a government agency. So they say it's a good idea. No one says no to that. They all go, yes, we should audit the Fed. And guess what? When we try to audit the Fed, we realize we can't just audit the Fed. It's not a government agency. You can't just decide to audit it. It's unfair. And when that happens, guess what happens? The press begins talking about it. People start talking about it. And then people go, oh, wait a minute. We have a central bank. Most Americans do not believe we have a central bank. For libertarians, that's crazy. But it's very true. So again, conversation's critical. Let's change the culture. Get Americans to understand where we are. Bring them to us. I view myself as the recruiter. Right? I want to bring people to our party, have them hear who we are, have them understand what we're trying to achieve, and then they'll become more and more libertarian as the time goes by. They will.
Well, I think the more hearts and minds we change there, that'll obviously be better for peace and prosperity.
Yes.
What do you think though is some of the maybe the solutions we could implement? Easily here, so things like, for example, buying insurance across state lines or getting medication from other, other countries and things like the federal, the FDA getting in the way of, more medication on the market. What do you think about those?
I actually, let me do two things. One, someone commented about no reenlistments would hurt. And I just want to be clear. That's the conversation starter, my friend. The second you say no reenlistments, all of a sudden you find the people who really want to be in here and want to retire and figure this out. it's a good conversation. And maybe, depending upon the needs of the military, you begin to allow a certain percentage, only certain types. Again, that begins the planning. So that was my point on the reenlistment. To your point, I'm actually, as a general rule, I'm actually not a fan of let's allow this, let's allow that. As a general rule, what I always try to do is very simply break the monopoly. That's it. And here's how you do it. Changing almost everything that is a license or requirement into a certification or a standard. So, do I say abolish the FDA? I don't. If you say abolish the FDA, the average American goes, we're all going to die of poison. That's clearly not true, but people believe that. So instead what I say is keep the FDA. Just make it not required. What does that mean? That if you want your drug or your thing to be approved by the FDA, you can go through what the FDA says and get the FDA stamp. Good on you. You think the government stamp matters, the government certification matters. Awesome. If you don't, you can go out and put your product or your service or whatever that case is into the market, as long as you have a disclaimer saying not regulated by the FDA. The FDA has no teeth and may not stop you, but it still exists. And if people care about it, they'll get FDA products. Larry, that's crazy. No, I have an example of that already. It's called natural food stores and health food stores. Most of those stores, nothing's regulated by the FDA. Where are all the deaths from health food stores? They don't exist. The healthiest people you know shop in those stores. There's no deaths from that. And what are they saying? Not regulated by the FDA. No worries. Let's copy that model across the board. But Larry, there'd be drugs. There's people who are putting supplements in their bodies, their child's bodies, from health food stores for literally decades. Where are all the deaths? So if you do that, what will happen? People will by default buy things from Canada or across state lines, or they'll do it, right? Now that won't be authorized by the FDA, but if the market doesn't care, if the consumers don't care, then consumers don't care. But if a consumer cares and says, no, I trust the federal government and it must be FDA approved, then they will only buy those products that follow the FDA rules. And I'm okay with that as long as the consumer decides. Yeah, my goal is always to create an environment to where people will function generally the best way possible, right? I don't want to say you may do X, you may do Y. I want to say, here it is, and here are some options, and look at this is a good one. That's a better way of doing it.
Yeah, and we do have, examples of this working already in other industries, like you said. It's not that these libertarian ideas are completely unheard of. It's that the market has been co-opted with federal regulations and state regulations that don't allow that same flexibility. We are able to shop for 60 different kinds of cereal at a time, but for some reason when it comes to medical care, we don't have that same flexibility.
100%.
Now, one of the
more we break the monopoly, I keep saying the monopoly piece, because again, when I say this, note I'm not using the words liberty, capitalism, free market. I'm not using any of those words. Why? The average American doesn't know what they mean. And if they care what they mean, it's negative. Because when they hear free market, what they hear is big business wins, which is not true, but that's what they hear. When they hear capitalism, they hear crony capitalism, which is what we have now. So when I use those, if I use those words, I get negative connotation. The most hardcore libertarians get mad at me all the time, but that's not what it means. The origin of the word is, I don't give a shit what the origin of the word is. I care what people feel about it. Politics is emotional, right? It's a popularity contest. Literally, it's a popularity contest, right? Literally, it's what it is. So I'm concerned what people feel about this, so they'll hear me. The old saying that I say all the time, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. So give them the emotional piece first, then they'll hear the rest. So I talk about breaking monopoly. Nobody likes monopoly except the guy who's running the monopoly. Besides that guy or gal, no one else likes it. So when I talk about breaking monopoly, I always get people on my side. Left, right, center, doesn't matter.
Awesome. Yeah. And so speaking of monopoly, that's a great segue here. one of the first things that came up to my plate when I got involved in politics actually was the debate access that I learned about through the Gary Johnson campaign. And
yes,
so it's important to me that we talk about these more outside things that maybe affect the day-to-day, like just elections that people don't even realize,
100%.
Had been voting for president for a couple, cycles at that point and didn't know how the debate structure works. So why don't you tell everybody what you know about the, how the debate process works, getting libertarians on the debate stage, and just, educate the listeners here a little bit on that.
I am the most radical of people when it comes to this. I don't think any lawsuit matters. I don't think any of the rule changes matter. They're irrelevant. It doesn't matter, because what debates are actually about, and this is what most people don't get, what they're actually about, they're about ad revenue. I'm not joking. They're about ad revenue. That's what matters when it comes to debates. They're not giving debates because they care that we hear about their ideas. The media doesn't care about that. The media has one job and one job only: to be seen. That's it. Not to educate us, not to show us the way, not to make us feel better. No, their job is to be seen. Ad revenue is what matters. Debates, a lot of ad revenue. They love that. So what does that mean? If all of a sudden they said, oh, you libertarians have won the lawsuit, and now you have to accept the libertarian in the debate. Here's what will happen, and I know this will happen. They'll say, great, now there's a debate. It's going to be, I hope, Judge Jim Gray, Biden, and Trump in a debate. Trump will simply say, no, I'm not going to be there. Debate over. So now, when that happens, CNN and Fox go, what? We were counting on all that ad revenue. No debate. Okay, we're going to have a town hall with Trump and Biden. And all of a sudden, Jim Gray is gone. How do I know that will happen? That literally happened to me while I was running in New York. The official debate was the League of Women Voters. That was official. We had a debate, and my governor didn't show up. So was it televised? No. So I won a debate that no one saw except those in the room. Nice, but who cared, right? I mean, the people who came, and those of you who came, thank you so much. A lot of you came. I appreciate that. You all wearing your cool Larry Sharpe shirts. That was awesome. The reality of it is it didn't work. So what is our answer? Be more popular. That's the answer. You want to be in a debate? Be popular. That's what matters. If people want to see you, you will be in a debate. Here is what I know, and I use this all the time because it's very funny to me, but I love it. Imagine if Kim Kardashian wanted to run for president. And she says, I'm going to run under the TV people party. It'd be Republican, Democrat, TV people, and we still wouldn't be in. There'd be 3 people on debate stage. It wouldn't be us, because everybody wants to see Kim Kardashian debate. I know I'm watching that, and everybody else watching this is watching that debate too. And
I'll watch it with you. Can we live stream it and do a comment?
Of course you would. Yes. And in fact, if Trump doesn't show, they still do it because people want to see her debate. So Trump has to debate her because that debate still goes. The answer is be more popular. People want to see us. This is part of it. So Anthony, thank you for doing your part in making us more popular by doing things like this, right? Be more popular. People want to see us. We'll be in the debate stage.
Yeah. And I think, we need to continue to expose what they're doing, because I think part of us becoming more popular is seeing that we don't want to play those same games, right? That we would rather just win on the basis of ideas. And if that means we get our ass kicked, then we get our ass kicked.
But hold on. It's an important piece here. The liberty movement, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, but this is what I believe in my heart, and I think to be true, and I say it all the time. The liberty movement is not the Libertarian Party. The liberty movement is a bigger piece.
No, right? Absolutely.
The Libertarian Party is only the electoral piece of the liberty movement. And when it comes to the liberty movement, there are people who should be activists and be doing things and being ahead of principle. People who should be just getting on TV and doing, social experiments. People who should be trying to get ballot access. People who should be pushing initiatives. Insert thing here. All these things are part of the liberty movement. Libertarian Party is about counting votes and winning elections. And we've been failing for 40 some odd years. But that's our job as the party. And people disagree. They go, no, the party's made for this and for that. Again, don't care what it was made for. Don't care why it was made. Irrelevant to me. And some people don't like that. Don't care. Right now, I see the party as the electoral arm of the libertarian movement. The entire movement is important, which is why you will never see me say that these guys are bad or those guys are bad. They're all important. I want them all in. When it comes to the party, I want people counting votes. And we got to play their game that way if we're part of the party.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the work that you've put in. I think there's a lot of different ways that we can go about this. I think changing minds and education and sharing of ideas and then implementing them ourselves, or just being self-sufficient ourselves and even working outside the system, even in our cutting our own hair right now at home illegally, it is one way to start. I mean, and I think I say that jokingly, but right now we're in a system where a lot of things crashing in front of our mind, in front of our eyes.
Sure.
Seeing how inefficient government is. They're seeing nobody's happy with the stimulus.
Well, I'm sorry. There's some big business cronies who are very happy with it.
Yeah, and the Fed's, like you said, the Fed is happy. But we have an opportunity right now, I believe, to really highlight that, hey, there's solutions here that we've been talking about for years. Had we implemented them, a while back, that these issues would have been lessened. Now going forward, that's okay. How do we implement them now going forward? And there's going to be, I think there could be some good deregulation that comes from this. I think the net outcome of all this likely doesn't end up in a positive way.
No, I think it's very bad. Probably. I think the odds of this, they're already talking. I think Mitch McConnell is talking about states going bankrupt already to solve this problem, putting states in receivership. The only advantage of that is we can finally just default on everything and start from scratch. But wow, is that going to be horrible to do?
Yeah.
What pain that's going to be.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. Well, I appreciate you coming on, sharing some of your ideas. You're running for Libertarian Party nomination for Vice President. I thank you for putting your life on hold here to do this. This is not something that I'm sure you took lightly.
No, yes, it's going to be 6 months of no work again. That's kind of how it works, but it's okay. It is what it is. We got to rock and roll. This is a chance that we may make some real impact, and that's what I really want. I want us to make some real impact here.
Well, we'll hopefully see you at convention in, what is it, May 28th? If not, hope maybe online. But go ahead, tell everybody where to find you, how to follow your campaign if they want to learn more or get involved.
Absolutely. GraySharpe2020.com. Please enjoy. And, of course, you can follow The Sharpe Way also, which you will be on, Anthony, coming up here soon. Yes, absolutely. You can go to The Sharpe Way also. Either one, please enjoy. Very happy to have you guys watching, paying attention. This stuff matters. Please like, comment, share. Please like, comment, share. The bigger we grow, we begin to grow our own media, right? This is the future of media. The more we like, comment, and share, the more we will grow our own media.
Yeah, and that can't be understated. There's so many different ways to get involved and to help. I know, many of us just started off as activists or people that were pissed off at something in our life. And, I know so many people watching this right now probably feel the same way. So I just hope you're encouraged to get 1% more involved, 5% more involved, whatever it is that you can give. Find a project that you're passionate about. It's going to be different for you than it is for Larry or myself, but, find something that you can, put your heart and energy into for whatever amount of time that is. And move the ball the right direction. And we'll do this together as a team, as a liberty movement, as a libertarian party. And I appreciate you, Larry, being able to come on and come to Washington a couple of times. So, definitely, like you said, everybody like, share, hit the hashtags, hashtag BeFree, hashtag Welty for Wa. We've got real opportunities right now here to share our ideas and to get things changed. So let's make that happen. Thank you guys, everybody. Have a great night.